can never have
Got no chance. I looked right at the group chat right as this came up. I was done.
Well, this is what happens when I have a full panel and I have, invite people over.
You need to stop giving people laughing gas before they come on your show, Mike.
That's not
Wait, I'm so confused. What the fuck happened?
Chat. You and your co-hosts are like Pauly Shore and what's the guy in Biodome? Which one of the?
Oh wow!
damn.
Pauly
That's a decoy.
This is just Draymond these nuts.
All right, guys, I had a whole introduction, but we just gonna roll with it. But
Go, Mikey, go! Go, Mikey, go!
it's fine, you guys. It's fine. No, but in all seriousness, welcome to Dual Dynasty, your weekly WWE review show here at the BC Wrestle Pod Network. Yeah, we have the whole panel today, plus a friend. So of course we got everybody here today. It's especially for this one. This is a loaded show, you guys. We have lots of thoughts and feelings and predictions to be made. But of course, I got Minnie, the Professor, Kilt, and a friend to the channel, Nick. So we got a lot to discuss, especially when it gets in the way of predictions. So we're just going to jump straight into everything. But before we do that, y'all know the drill. If you like what you see here, subscribe on the YouTubes, follow us on Kick and Twitch. If you can't commit to a whole video, follow us on the socials at BC Wrestle Pod. And of course, we have some merchandise. Y'all, let's just get into it because we got lots to talk about. And I'm not trying to be here for 2 whole hours. I'm going to be so for real. Our SummerSlam predictions.
How do you truncate this? Because we could ramble about all the things we're angry about, or we could just spit the facts and move on.
We can quickly go through Raw because it was very self-contained and everything was okay. We can have our thoughts and feelings on SmackDown because SmackDown was really rushed to me this week. But that's because of everything that transpired earlier in the week. So let's just get into it. So let me just change where we are. There we go.
I'm digging the festive background, Mikey. Christmas in July. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Christmassy.
So exactly. Well, this is what happens when we have a full panel. So we get this. This is only usually reserved for our podcast episodes, but that's okay. So let's just jump into it. Like I said, we're gonna kick things off with the Raw of that happened Monday. I'm gonna be so for real. I had to go back and watch this because I started watching this and then I ended up falling asleep. So I had to go rewatch it later when it aired on Monday night. I was like, oh cool, I don't got nothing left, so I'm gonna watch Raw. Fell asleep like 30 minutes into the show and was like, well, crap, now I got to watch it again. So let's just jump into it. Lots of things happen, but not really. So we start things off, though, with CM Punk coming to the ring to cut a promo that we've heard 20 times before when it comes to building to championship matches in SummerSlam. So, of course, Punk gets on the mic. Gunther comes in to interrupt. This is paint by numbers, y'all. I don't need to go into much further detail than any of this. So, yeah, it was a thing that happened.
I honestly thought Gunther looked good in this. Came off looking the best.
Same here, which I would hope so because he is the champion, but we'll see. But again, we open the show this way. We are reminding everybody at home, be like, hey, don't forget, these two have a match at SummerSlam for the championship. So Gunther, it's nice to see you. Now that we're done with Goldberg, we can finally move you out to where you belong.
I was so focused on Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul.
We're going to get to that when we get to SmackDown.
That hurts my soul. Goldberg's still running his mouth upset about all kinds of things. Another one came out this morning. He went on some other interview thing, and he was just all upset about how WWE did all kinds of things. And it's like, they bent over backwards to give you something nobody wanted.
Man.
What are you doing? I don't know. It's weird to me.
It definitely is. But again, I was like, okay, so we'll get probably one more promo and a confrontation this upcoming week as the go home angle. So,
Sure.
But we move on though, because Stephanie Vaquer is backstage. Byron interviews her about, again, she has a guaranteed championship match at the Clash in Paris at the end of August, but she's waiting to see who walks out. But Naomi comes in, interrupts and stirs the pot a little bit, telling Stephanie that she still can't get one over Io. And so she's like, it doesn't matter because whoever walks out as champion, I'm ready for them. But again, Naomi's just stirring the pot and being kind of cray-cray, and we're here for it. Not gonna lie. So we're gonna talk about you, Stephanie, a little bit later. Banger! That is all I have to say.
Shouldn't. I'm upset with this.
It was totally a bangers and mash match.
Why does Rusev have to take a loss right now?
I don't know.
Everybody, I don't know.
That's Triple H. That's Triple H's response is like, why not? I mean,
and I worry that he came back the week after WrestleMania, just like Aleister Black, and I worry the same thing's gonna happen to Aleister Black, the main eventer on SmackDown. It's the same exact thing. It's like they shouldn't be taking, and Aleister Black's already taken a loss, but he shouldn't be taking a one-on-one loss this early. Like, there's no point.
I mean, this is like his second match since he came back.
third, yeah.
And Aleister Black has already been in like 5. to 6, 3 of which was with R-Truth.
I didn't see, I saw the highlights of this. It looked cool. I had no issues with the highlights of what I saw. I'm being told by folks that this sort of aura of Rusev is kind of diminished and gone because they haven't used him. Is that the general opinion?
Fair assessment, because he came back, we didn't see him for weeks, then he had a squash match, gone for like 2-3 weeks, and then he entered a feud with Sheamus now. So I was just like, what are we doing?
Same with Alistair and or Malachi Black. They just kind of let them tread water for months and got spooky for a week or two, and now wearing a suit and tie, beating up Damian Priest. Like, I don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
Nikki seems to think that Rusev and Sheamus are going towards a bar type reunion type deal, like what he had with Sheamus and Cesaro. What was it, like 5-6 years ago? And that they're going to put them together as a tag team.
I mean, sure. I don't know what we're doing, but
Nothing.
whatever.
Absolutely nothing.
But as far as the in-ring goes, I thought this was a banger. But like, we either are getting a best of 7 series but don't put them together. WWE, please. Scrap Daddy, don't put them together. Please don't. We don't. Sheamus and Rusev do not need to be in a tag team. I don't care if you think it works. We don't want it. At least I don't want it.
Give me the New Age Alkalites, and they're just gonna wear black, wreck house, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be perfect.
The New Age Alkalites.
It'll add to Raw. It'll be great. It'll fix the tag team division right away.
Well, yes, totally.
The more we talk about this, the more angry I get, because that's probably what's going to happen. But we're going to move on.
It could be worse. It could be like they decide to throw Sheamus and Drew McIntyre together for a tag team and let them be the Celtic Warriors or just whatever. And then it'll be the tan and the pale just going back and forth.
Black and tan.
Yeah, basically.
So match itself I enjoyed it, but yeah, I'm a little worried. And apparently there's rumors that they're going to have their blow-off match at Clash in Paris. I was like, damn, you going to drag this out for weeks? All right, sure, fine, whatever. But I digress.
This promo was fire.
I'm so mad that I was just like, I feel bad for Ludwig Kaiser. But to me, I'm here for this version and I know the whole point with Chad Gable being Grande Americano Latte was supposed to be the stereotypical luchador. I still have beef with this, but it seems that Ludwig is it's still stereotypical, but not in a way where it's an over-characterization, like cartoonishly over-characterization when it comes to this. And again, what we talked before we started too, the fact that this man actually knows Spanish and is over in Mexico, because when he went to AAA this past week, I was just like, hey, you know what? The AAA crowd is behind it. I guess I will be too.
I mean, he might have just snatched this character from whoever it was who had. He might have taken it right from him, right? Like it was
really well transitioned. Like I saw the video of him coming out to the crowd and singing in Spanish with them, and I'm like, okay, they kind of fumbled initially with Grande Latte. Now they got, what are we calling this version?
So I don't know, Grande Americano.
No,
or actually,
Aliman.
because he's very tall, this is Grande Americano.
Venti, there we go. This is Venti Americano.
It goes to Sheamus, and then it's Trenta. Like, it just keeps going bigger and bigger.
It's Trenta.
Somehow Great Khali comes back.
Oh no!
Double Trenta. Yeah.
Lord have mercy. But this is the setup because Omos be killing it in Japan right now. Not gonna lie, you guys. But after being interviewed by Byron Saxton, Dragon Lee has beef, and they start fighting with each other, which is gonna set up things for later. So this is all that this kind of set this up. Raw. I already figured this was going to happen, but we get a Can They Coexist tag team match for the championships later this evening. Bayley gets a champ. Bayley just asked for a tag team championship match, and she asked for Lyra Valkyria to be her partner. And Lyra's like, girl, what? Like, why? It's just like, same, Lyra, same.
This picture's, it's almost like Bayley just said, hey, what's up? Let's be tag teams. And then crop dusted and walked away. Because it's like, that's the face I make when someone crop dusted. Like, are you serious?
I'll see you in the ring. And then just walks away.
This is my whole beef with everything. Like, again, there might be something happening that we're not aware of when it comes to SummerSlam, but the fact that this is the second big PLE this year that Bayley has not been on this card in some capacity blows my mind.
And we talked about it last week. She's come out and said, I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure why they're not using me. I'm not sure why I'm not in this. Like, she's dodged it because people are asking her directly, which puts her in a tough spot. But
unless you're turning her back
weird.
Heel or something, I was just like,
I think that's what's going on.
That's what I'm hoping
so?
it is.
Yeah, if we can get Rich later, but like she came out after SmackDown recently and
cut that promo
not being used in the BS. I think she's turning on Lyra again, and like
she's gonna cost Lyra the match at SummerSlam.
What about Dermage Couture?
They're done. We haven't directly been told this, but they're done because Asuka and Kairi are the Kabuki Warriors. Io is in the championship scene, and Bailey's over here. So, and with Dakota Kai being gone now, so
yes, damage control is so effective, it is no longer there.
Those poor girls, they tried to make it work, but they were given zilch to zero to nada, and people getting hurt also didn't help either. Alrighty, but we're going to talk about and Bailey a little bit later because right now they're actually pushing LWO and I'm excited, but also very worried at the same time. I was just like,
I forgot they existed.
Yeah, I'm going to be so for real. I was just like, they've been gone for like months now, but we get this number one contender triple threat match to see who will face the Judgment Day for the tag team championships at some point. This is the New Day, all black, everything. Taking on the Forgotten LWO versus the Creed brothers of American Made, aka, our condiment siblings.
The Mayo brothers. It's Hellman's and Miracle Whip.
I will just say this. I don't know. I was like, he's not here. So I was like, sorry, boys, we ain't gonna put you on television because Ray's not here. I'm like, bro. I'm saying, and that's a whole other op-ed piece you can watch about that later sometime. I'm probably gonna make about it. But hey, LWO wins. I'm excited. But also, this probably is not going to amount to anything either, as we have seen in the past.
LWO will become relevant again, I think, if they actually, as a stable, when Dom Mysterio is the head of that group.
Sure.
That would be a nice change of pace. I was like, I love you, Ray, but we don't need to make you the figurehead of all these Latin.
Have them at some point turn, like, again, when you eventually go back to that feud, have them turn on Rey Mysterio to join with Dom.
Ooh, heel versions. I'm here for that, too.
Would be interesting. Yeah, I don't hate that.
I mean, they can be. We saw them heel-ish when the first incarnate of Legado del Fantasma was, these two with Santos. So, yeah, LWO win. I'm excited. They're probably not going to win, but it is what it is. So, we're going to take what we can at this point. The girls are fighting. So, Io is talking to Asuka and Kairi. Stephanie comes in, with Naomi playing in her head because, the last time we had a match, we didn't get to a finish because shenanigans happened and people ran in. So I want to finish what we started, and Io's like, down. So we're going to have a match tonight. And I was like, cool. I can already smell shenanigans part 2 electric boogaloo coming in hot later in this episode. I was like, they're just not going to let, we are not going to get a definitive finish. They're never going to let Io and Stephanie actually get to a conclusion anytime soon. I'm like, all right, I'm excited, but I already know. I was like, don't play in my face, Raw. So we get this promo from Becky and Lyra. Becky tells the crowd that she'd rather spend her time, promoting No More 2 than being here. And then she calls Lyra out to the proverbial carpet, so to speak. Becky calls Lyra selfish, that she's gotten so many chances at this belt. So she makes a wager with Lyra that if Lyra loses at SummerSlam, so long as Becky is champion, she cannot challenge Becky for the Women's Intercontinental. And then Lyra also offers up there can only be one winner, and there has to be a solidified winner, like no room for error, no room for arguments. So not only does Becky add that stipulation that if Lyra loses, she can't challenge it for the championship again so long as Becky is champion, but Lyra adds in that this is no count out, no disqualification, so we're going to need a no DQ match at SummerSlam between these two. So I was like, baller, which then
There's
allows...
going to be some fucky wucky shit, isn't there?
Oh, it's going to be in the form of Bailey. Like, I'm calling it right now. Bailey is going to be involved, and because it's no DQ, Bailey's going to cause Lyra to lose.
There's always some fucky wucky shit.
I was like... And in this story, we've had craziness, we've had triple threats. So, but this leads into everything. Becky tries to hit Lyra with a manhandle slam. Lyra reverses it. Becky gets the heck out of Dodge. I was like, cool. I'm actually excited for this match at SummerSlam because I was just like, I love you, Lyra. But yeah, we kind of need Becky to start facing someone new too, because these two and throwing Bailey into this mix, this has been our story for the last 3 months now. So I was just like, all right, let's switch gears a little bit.
But Lyra's carried that whole feud.
Oh, 100%. Lyra, once again, I feel like now we're seeing her kind of, not to say she wasn't coming into her own before, but I'm happy to see that Lyra doesn't have to fight so hard now to get the crowd over with her. I mean, we talked about this previously too, especially during our Money in the Bank review too. Is the crowd was not into Lyra when I was there for Money in the Bank, and she was able to turn that crowd in her favor halfway through the match, just doing what she does best. But I'm calling it now. We're gonna put a pin in this. Bailey's gonna get involved on Sunday and cost Lyra the feud. Fight somebody else for a little bit. So, but WWE, I'm angry that this is how you tell us that we finally get the split from Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, I was just like, I know he injured, but y'all couldn't have done something where Grayson Waller beat up Austin Theory. Like, I was so mad. I was like, this is
really? That's how they're doing this?
Yeah, off screen he said, "Oh, he's hurt, so I don't have to carry the dead weight around anymore." Like, what?
I was like, what the
They've
fuck?
been teasing this for over a year, and this is how you do it.
That's kind of dumb.
He gets choke slammed by Jelly Roll, and that's it.
Well, so now, hate to say it, but they're Theory was Vince McMahon's guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
How obvious is it that you're not a Triple H guy?
There you go. No, I agree. Yeah.
Which is wild.
Sorry, ain't gonna work for me. But you know what's interesting about this whole thing? I legit think at some point I have this weird feeling Oba with the New Day.
Somebody is going to.
I would
That's right.
love Oba Femi with them. I don't think Oba Femi coming up to the main roster by himself is going to get over at all. I know he's big dude, athletic. Like, I just don't see that gimmick getting over organically on the main roster. And I would love to put him with the New Day as like the new heavy, just the guy that keeps him on top.
Well,
I hate that.
no, and I think, Nick, you're onto something too, because as the NXT person here, basically because with Heat Wave coming up at the end of August on Sunday, August 24th, and everything that has transpired this week in the land of NXT, specifically around our NXT Men's Championship with Oba retaining in that triple threat between Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. Like we talked about this. Oba has gone through this entire NXT men's roster. Like, he has defeated everyone at least twice at this point. There's only one person who still has only lost to him once. And again, call me crazy, call me biased, but because of some sage advice that the Dead Man Undertaker gave him this past week at the end of NXT this Tuesday, I honestly think we're prepping Javon Evans to be taking this title from Oba Femi. And I think unless they're going to do it at No Mercy in September, I think Heat Wave might be where we see Javon get that title from Oba, and then they get one more match at No Mercy to kind of send Oba off to main roster. Because I'm like, Oba has accomplished everything, honestly.
Javon's only 21 years old, by the way.
Yes, but young champions, and especially since Javon has, despite his age, is probably more seasoned than a lot of the older folks in this division. I mean, Javon Evans and Leon Slater are the two examples where these kids have been wrestling since they can walk, like at 8 and 9 years old. They've been training all their lives for this. We call this the Nick Wayne effect too, because Nick Wayne is another one who's been wrestling since he's like single digits. Zaya Brookside too. I'm
not going to pretend that I'm an NXT nerd and that I know everything over there. I've only watched it every now and then, but that name stuck out to me. I knew who Javon Evans was. So
I think Javon could carry NXT for the remainder of the year as champion, especially if you give him proper feuds and things like that. And again, who knows with this timeline we live in where two of the NXT stars are holding the TNA World Championships. JC is double champ, being both NXT and TNA Knockouts champion, and Trick's still holding on to the TNA World Championships. So I'm ready for Mike Santana to kick down the door and start kicking ass and taking names with the rest of the TNA squad. And again, I will laugh my ass off if Santino Marella somehow manages to take that NXT North American Championship away from Ethan this Tuesday. Anywho, but Grayson Waller offers his services up to the New Day, and I was just like, okay. So be like, okay. But again, we'll see what happens with all of this. Judgment Day girls win. Come on now. We knew what this was. Like, unless anybody has any additional thoughts, we can move right along.
I'm a little upset about how they got handled on SmackDown, but I didn't see this, so I can't speak directly to it.
The match itself was fine, but I was like, we knew what this was. We're not dumb. Like, we know. We've been knowing. I'm gonna be so for real. AJ carried this episode with all his shenanigans and disguises this whole entire episode of Raw. Like, from valet to janitor to what I wanted really badly though is that when Dom went to go to the medical office, that it would be Dr. AJ, just like in a random coat and glasses and everything. I'm just like, we also knew what this was too, because this was actually entertaining. I don't know who got busted up, but there was blood by the end of it and Scarlett licking blood. I was like, kinky, but I was like, that's a tetanus shot too. This also screamed, this is how we're going to get this blow off match at SummerSlam now, because the SummerSlam match was announced before we got the development. Mind I add you. I was just like, we learned about the card for Saturday and Sunday SummerSlam before Monday Night Raw, and this was the storytelling. I was just like, well, I saw that coming. I was like, storytelling be damned, I guess.
It's tough when we'll talk about when we get to picks. Like, you look at that whole Saturday card, and these two are just at the bottom just because. And I'm like, that's unfortunate. I like both of them. I think they could do something cool, but you can't help but feel like they're an afterthought.
Yeah, unfortunately. Karrion Kross wins this one, so now we're 1-1. So we're getting this blow-off match at SummerSlam. I'm gonna be so for real, as much as I love these two, unless they add some sort of stipulation, be like, I don't care about who wins this feud.
Right, because Zayn got the win on the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, Zayn won at Night of Champions. Karrion won here on television. So as much as I would love for Karrion to win, they have built Sami Zayn to be this underdog that he is no longer one, might I add. I feel like I know it's an easy character trope for Sami to fall back into, but I was like, Sami, you have been here long enough. Like, I don't think we can call you an underdog anymore. Like, you have been established here on this main roster. It's not like you just came up from NXT like less than a year ago.
You call him the overdog of the undercard?
Yeah, exactly. He's the overdog of the undercard. So, yeah.
I really want to hear an announcer really lean into that. The underdog of the overcard. Like, make that the big
Sammy. Thing. So, yeah, we get the blow-off match at SummerSlam. And we learned that before even Monday Night Raw aired. I was like, all right. AJ goes to the back of the office. Doctor says that Dominic is cleared. Dominic attacks AJ, and this is officially made for SummerSlam for the Intercontinental Championship. Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. This should be a fun one, but I was like, Dom's probably going to win. I don't foresee him getting rid of this Intercontinental Championship anytime soon.
And I would think that that's what AJ wants, right? Putting someone over, coming near the end. Did he give a timeline? I thought he had announced something, but he knows that.
I think
it is next year, right?
Yeah. I mean, and he's already doing it to other companies too, even though I feel like there were rumors that AJ was supposed to was supposed to do more at Slammiversary, but the Fed was like, no. But I will say though, while I wish AJ's appearance in TNA Slammiversary was utilized a little bit more. He did put over Leon Slater as the future of wrestling, so I was just like, okay, I'm here for this.
With this whole crossover, you can't not have AJ Styles go to TNA and do something, at least a couple of matches to put somebody over, there, or at least throw back some of his old matches and try and do a run back with that, because this is the year to do it. You have John Cena doing his retirement tour this year. AJ can do his crossover with TNA, so it doesn't take away too much right from the WWE product. 2026 and AJ's retirement tour is 2026. And the other thing is, I was thinking about, just to kind of throw a little wrench in this that completely has nothing to do with anything, but as we're talking about retirement tours, because you have Cena this year, potentially AJ next year. Is it possible? I mean, this might be way too long. I might be long booking this, but is it possible that coming back to WWE for like 2026 and a 2027 last run is Chris Jericho?
I think he's officially done.
I'm not saying he wrestles much. Like, maybe he does like 4 or 5 matches, but the value of him on commentary, what he can do, backstage, showing up as like a Legends deal. I feel like maybe Edge comes back for one last run too. I don't know.
I would take Edge over Chris Jericho, but hey, you know what? If Chris Jericho was in WWE, him and the previously owner would have something in common where they had lots of talent sign NDAs. But I digress.
Yeah, right. I don't know if
there's the next couple of years, and every year there's going to be one guy, and I'm just throwing out.
I think your impulse is right. To tell you the truth, I think it's whatever TKO and the Saudis want, right? If the Saudis go, we want that nostalgic Chris Jericho feel from 20 years ago, they're going to give it to him. So that's possible.
They want the list.
I mean, let's be real. I will say, despite my feelings about Jericho, like the list was a hit with that gimmick. So I was just like, but we'll see. But again, this match is made official for SummerSlam Night 2, which we'll get into during our predictions. Call back to earlier in the show, we knew that Io and Stephanie Vaquer were not going to get anything. Chelsea Green, of all people, shows up with the Secret Harvest to cause the DQ finish, and then everybody be fighting. So I was like, okay.
Is it me, or I don't know? Is it because she's in like heels or whatever? But Chelsea Green took the Riptide so poorly that I was shocked at like how awkward that went down.
I got a little scared when Rhea hit Chelsea with the Riptide. So I was like, I don't know if it was because she was in heels, and so like, who knows? But I was just like, ooh, that did not look great, because Rhea comes out for the save to even the score. And just announced by Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce earlier today, we're getting an 8-woman tag team match on the Raw Go Home show. We love these big multi-person matches, not in WWE, but I digress, because it's going to be Io, Rhea, Stephanie, and Nikki Bella versus Chelsea, Piper, Alba, and I'm forgetting who's on the other side of that. But it's an 8-woman tag, so it's just like, okay. Well, No, I think you're right. I think it is Naomi, which is weird, but whatever.
Is it fair to say that the because this is the one thing that from last week that I took away, especially with all the her feuding with Secret Service, that I mean she's already number one contender, but Stephanie Vaquer is 100% on the main roster, a made woman now.
Yeah, I guess so. I was like, I mean, she kind of been that way even when she arrived in NXT. I was like, girl is more seasoned than most of these folks in here. I put that on everything in my integrity as a wrestling host. I'm like, girl has traveled around the world and she knows her stuff. So I'm like, she's been a made woman ever since and we got word she was coming over here to the Fed. So I was like, all right, Chelsea, I love you, girl. I know I love you because you are down for everything. You don't again, but it's the same thing that happened with Bailey. I'm like, I feel like Chelsea is a go-getter and she is willing to do anything and everything. She is a good worker. I was just like, but gives Chelsea something. Also, you internet weirdos are so rude. I can't believe you made Chelsea have to take a break from the social media because of her thoughts and feelings of, calling out the craziness when a certain wrestler passed away this week.
Stop with the goddamn death threats.
I was like, what is happening?
They're piling on the women as opposed to the men.
But that's how it always is. I never
crazy.
see the internet do this to the men, but then the women do it and then everybody's on them. I was just like, they on their necks. I was like, what the hell, you guys? It's crazy.
Fucking stupid.
But again, that's a whole nother episode. We can divulge and dive into the psychology of all of that. So, Chelsea, we're going to talk about you a little bit later, too, because SmackDown did not fare better for you either. Oh, girl. So, I have never felt more gaslit in my entire life than I did during this promo.
That's what he does, man. That's what he's always been good at.
I was like, because the Roman Reigns, I love you to death, but I was like, let's not sit here and pretend that.
Mikey, are you not down with the OTC?
I mean, I'm down with the OTC. Yeah, you know me. But we ain't gonna pretend Roman Reigns is just like, I'm not the reason that the bloodline crumbled. I was like, big dog. Yeah, you were, but I digress. I get it.
Whoa. Watch for the big dog talk. It isn't like being talked like that no more.
True, because Bronze Breaker is taking on that moniker out here looking like a meme. And I was just like, fire your spray tan person. We've talked about this before, Bronze Breaker. I was like, what is this? I was like, anywho.
I gotta throw this out here.
Go for it.
Because Nikki disagrees with me on this 100%.
Ooh.
She's like, you're jumping the shark already or whatever. But whether Rollins is injured or not, the cracks in the vision or the alliance, whatever we're calling this group, are already there.
We don't even have a name, which is crazy.
I think they're called the Vision because he said
Sure.
the Vision. But a couple weeks back, right, when Rollins was healthy, he came and took the mic away from him, right? Because he was pissed off about the Sami Zayn stuff, right? When Sami Zayn got injured, when they originally took him out. And he's just like, I'm pissed off, whatever. And then that was like him cutting off Rollins because if Mike was supposed to go to Rollins, and he cut himself off. Then, and he's like, the future, this is all about the future, and I'm the future. And that was part of his promo. Now, this promo is, I'm the big dog. Basically similar. I'm the future, but the big dog, it's my yard now. And I just thought interesting that now they're like, it's obvious every time he's on the mic, this group is a heel group, but he's the one who's the most tweener, like most face of the group, that it's just interesting that I think that like he's just so over that he might be out of the group quicker than this group than we think this group's gonna last. Like it's
always felt like a strange grouping to me. It just felt like, oh, we have Heyman needs guys. What's Seth doing? Let's make a heel faction go. And it never quite fit for me. And it seemed like they were starting to figure out something, and then Seth got hurt. So
yeah,
now,
it was like supposed to be like the new version of Evolution.
we talked about that. That's right.
It was like we needed like the Randy Orton-esque person, which people were like, it's going to be Austin Theory, it's going to be Carmelo Hayes, who's it going to be? And then Seth was like, guys, look, I took an arrow to the fucking knee again, doing the same exact move I heard it on last time.
Yeah, I used to be an adventurer like you.
Well,
now he's the true Ric Flair because he's hurt.
But to your point, right? If this is supposed to be Evolution, this is where I disagree. If this is supposed to be Evolution, Batista came in as the enforcer with Ric Flair, and they were the tag team of the group. There is no like tag team of this group. So like in that aspect, the enforcer maybe is Bronson Reed at this point in time because he's the biggest guy, size wise. I like the idea of them bringing Bronson Reed because now there's a interference, so to speak, between Seth Rollins and if Braun Breaker's the one who theoretically should break out from this group and then destroy it, right? So like I like that idea of like having Bronson Reed there. It's just, I don't know. The way that they talk, this faction is, other than the couple times they've laid out people, they've never been in unison with anything.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's what's so weird about it. It's like we have a common goal of running the business, but they've never been like talking with like they say that like maybe once the first night, but since then there hasn't been anything like that. And maybe the injury escalated this, but it's like a lot of the way Braun Breaker's talking is he's separating himself from the group so much earlier than I ever thought.
He was on a hot streak, right? He came in here for over a year, got championships, was nailing dudes like huge, and now they sort of pump the brakes to put him in this, whatever this thing is. And of course, and then I don't know. I'm agreeing with you in that it's felt kind of.
It was fine. Raw was okay. I was like, all right, we're getting to this finish line of SummerSlam, so let's just get there.
Okay, we'll talk about SmackDown in like 5 minutes. I think.
Because that's how they felt with SmackDown this
Yeah,
week.
this is one of the SmackDowns we wouldn't even touch a couple years, like when we first.
No, we would not have. If we were on the mini scale, anything less than 3, this was a 3 out of 10. Let me where's the numbers? There were
a yap down.
In a 120-minute show, there was 34 minutes of wrestling, and I'm counting the 5 minutes of the melee at the end after the match itself. Huge gap.
Was wild.
At one point, there was it was 43 minutes to the first match, and then there was a 30-minute gap, at least on YouTube TV where I was watching it on. And then there was a 6-minute commercial, and then the women's match. Like, what are we doing with horrible.
Yeah, you can tell that because they decided to insert lots of videos about, people talking about Hulk Hogan and all of that. It kind of made everything felt rushed, in my opinion. That's where I'm at. But speaking of which, let's just get this out the way too, because the internet has been on fire with everything from this week about this man's passing. So let's just get into it. So SmackDown kicks off with a 10-bell salute for Hulk Hogan. The whole entire roster was there. Shout out to Wyatt Six, still keeping to the gimmick, just like especially Uncle Howdy still in the full mask and everything, which was great. But we are going to summarize my personal feelings, and I don't care if people come from the internet because I've had this argument with a bunch of people this whole entire week, and my stance doesn't change. So we're just going to summarize these 4 individuals because their faces summarize everything to me right now. So Wade Barrett's just like, I'm here.
All those
Me first. I want to go first. Can I go first?
Sure. So
okay.
So, give me your thoughts on Wade Barrett. Like, what is
Wade Barrett? I got to fart. Oh, a little came out.
All right, now let's go to Julia.
All right, which one of these fat fuckers just farted?
And then finally, let's go to Jacob Fatu.
I'm a gangster. Just off in his head singing.
Oh, that was all my gas, no brakes.
He's just saying all gas, no brakes all day.
Yeah, it was
all my gas, no brakes. Look
Our
at
truth is just like, I'm not going to say the word, but he's just like, this
Are we really here for this?
Is what this is. He's in the back of the beanie, I think.
Wait, actually, no. Our truth is thinking, wait, how's Tommaso Ciampa over there and over there? You damn Houdini.
Is that little Jimmy over there?
And yes, Tommy Dreamer was in there.
Tommy Dreamer was in there?
Yeah. I don't here. Okay, so all to say this is the reason I put this picture up and we're kind of making fun and talking about these faces that are being made and making light of the situation is I can't speak for the rest of my constituents. But I understand, especially in the 80s with some of our older folks here, especially our older hosts of the BC Wrestle Pod who've been around during the 80s while wrestling was a thing too.
No. I was there last century. I saw it.
Well,
I was there.
He wouldn't be mad for saying this, but I'm talking about mostly about like Will and JT who are one of the 2 elder statesmen here at BC Wrestle Pod who were alive during this time and actually could remember the things. Hulk Hogan definitely was a character in the wrestling business, but I will give a proverbial double middle fingers to that man. I was like, you cannot tell me otherwise because this is one of those situations where his personal life really taints the legacy. And I was like, nah. I was just like racist, homophobic, like that whole sex tape scandal, him busting up unions in the wrestling business is also not very good. And for those of us who belong in workforces that are unionized for a little bit, it's just like no bueno.
But him as a wrestler, spoken from other wrestlers on interviews going back to the 80s, not a good wrestler, and was a different wrestler in Japan because they made him wrestle a certain way in Japan, but he never brought that over here. And they've made the argument that he didn't want to get hurt, or I'll say it, that he was soft and kind of lazy, so he didn't work that way over here. refused to put people over, refused to take certain shots, changed things, like did a lot of meddling that the opposite. Huh?
He ruined 2 promotions. He was one of the main catalysts of the downfall of WCW and damn near destroyed TNA.
Yeah, him, Eric Bischoff, and Dixie Carter nearly destroyed TNA.
Here's one. I saw this on TikTok. Here's some of the greatest lies of Hulk Hogan.
Oh, there's so
he claimed he wrestled 400 days out of a year because he flew back and forth from here in Japan.
Right.
He was supposed to play bass for Rolling Stones and Metallica, which is really funny because Lars Ulrich went, I don't even know who the fuck that dude is.
That he did that.
And also UFC. He also said something about the UFC, but they didn't have their first event until '93. And he was supposed to compete in the first UFC pay-per-view. Said they had a match with Antonio Inoki in Japan. He claims that Hogan beat him up so badly Inoki died, but he got brought back up with CPR after the match. Then he said that Hogan couldn't work in Japan for a while because the Yakuza were after him.
That's not how Yakuza works. I should know, but anywho.
We can rag on all the Hoganisms.
We can. However, I do want to give our other hosts a little bit. Nick, you said you wanted you wanted to chime in for a little bit.
Yeah, so completely get it because you can't not acknowledge it. So I look at it 2 ways because Nikki and I discussed this Friday night. And there's Terry Bollea, the person, and there's Hulk Hogan, the character. And that's where I separate. Similarly, and I think I mentioned this like Professor, like we spoke about this, I think on this show. I view wrestling very similarly to music. They're all independent contractors, musicians, artists in that vein. Completely different circumstances. I understand this, but I'm going to bring up a name that we all know. Michael Jackson. Do you like Beat It in those songs? People still love those songs. Would I ever in my lifetime send anyone in my family or myself go to Neverland Ranch or whatever it's called? Absolutely
nope.
No. The person, Michael Jackson, completely no, weirdo, absolutely out of his mind. The entertainer on stage that performed all those hit songs and brought out those songs completely revolutionized music. That's where Hulk Hogan has his value. And that's why I think, again,
absolutely
he needs to be acknowledged at that point. Great wrestler, not by any stretch, but he understood how to get people invested in his matches and invested in him, the character. Yeah. Metal, a lot of crazy things, political backstage, but changed the business in a lot of ways for the better. So that's how I think overall I'm going to view things with that, because there's so many people, and it's a similar light when that day comes when Vince McMahon passes, is people are going to say similar things about Vince McMahon, about the person and all the craziness associated with this backstory. But Vince McMahon, the promoter, and the what he meant to wrestling and entertainment is completely different. And that's
you're absolutely right. And I'm agreeing with you, and I'm spinning it in the way in my head that makes sense. You can split up Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea because this is wrestling and kayfabe and actors playing parts and stuff. The same way we do with Hollywood, right? Was sort of like, I love the character so-and-so plays, but I know behind the scenes they're a horrible person, or they treat fans like this, or whatever else, right? But I'm a fan of this movie or that movie or this thing. Or I think with the Hulk, and since we're wrestling nerds and we're biased, there's a little bit of it hits us harder or deeper or differently than I could disassociate with Hollywood people because of whatever reason. But everything that, they were saying in the tribute is kind of right? Like wrestling would not be what it is without a Hulk Hogan, without that cartoon supernova that exploded in 1980 and then took 1980 to 1991, everything to new heights, and everyone made their monies or did everything else. And as children, we're oblivious to the fact, right? I had a Hulk Hogan t-shirt. I had one that I ripped, and my dad was pissed because in 1980s, it was like, and I tried to be cool and went, oh, I ripped it. It's like, yeah, what are you doing? Like, I had the toys. I had all those things. I remember the movie.
I wasn't that strong. I'd try to rip it and then I'd be upset. And then my mother would be like, what are you doing? I'm like, Hulk Hogan, I'm strong. She's like, you're not.
Exactly. I remember cutting holes in other shirts to be like Junkyard Dog and Hulk Hogan and other wrestlers. And my mom was pissed. Anyway, so yeah, there's a part of that what he did to make it happen in America, and what, bringing up his name, what Vince did, taking over the company from his dad, buying up territories, doing what he did, getting the deals, getting the other things. Yeah, like they created an industry in which people are gainfully employed. Right. So I think your Michael Jackson analogy absolutely works. The only thing I'm not pushing back. The only thing I'll add is both things have to be true.
Yeah, I feel like, if the character Hulk Hogan will be the one that people grew up watching. Unfortunately, it's going to be the same way with bringing up his name with Vince. When he eventually passes, it's one of those things where it's like, Yeah, he was a terrible human being.
Jericho, Ric Flair.
Without
kinds,
Vince, without Vince, we wouldn't have wrestling that we have today. That is an undeniable fact. Without him, wrestling would not be where it's at today. Same with Hulk Hogan. So it's like terrible people. They did some terrible things. Hulk said some terrible things.
Yeah. Music, because I know Nick and I speak music. Chuck Berry,
Frank Sinatra.
You created that. You did what? Like, both things got to be true.
Yeah,
right?
it's an unfortunate reality of it does for wrestling fans. It's like, damn, this was an icon that needed terrible things. You're like, I don't know how I should feel about this, and people are like, when we go do our episode of how toxic the internet wrestling community is.
Seriously,
they're two extremes. They're going to the two extremes of either Hulk Hogan was a god among men or Hulk Hogan was a literal bug that we stepped on. So there's got to be a middle ground of, yes, he was a terrible person, but what he did in the 80s was iconic.
There's a duality between these two, the character and the actual person too. And there's a duality, and like everybody has said so far, two things can be true at the same time. So again, Hulk Hogan, the character, will be missed. The actual person, not so much, but that's just me.
It is remarkable that Wade Barrett is there with that face, and then literally 2 minutes later is going, Hulk Hogan is the reason we're here. Like, totally flips.
Very performance-based. Jacob is me this whole entire time. Jacob's like, man, they're going to cut all our programming tonight because of this.
Jacob's like, man, I'd rather be in catering right now.
We'll talk about Jacob in a little bit, though.
I mean, I wonder if that's the general morale, is that it didn't come off to me like, oh, we're sad we lost an icon. It came off as, oh, man.
Well, okay, so besides...
We're 10 days out. You're going to cut all our time?
Besides Wade Barrett, a lot of the people you're seeing right now are newer to the company, so I'm not even sure how many people have actually truly met Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
Jacob has, because Jacob has always been very transparent. He is a wrestler, but he is a wrestling fan first before he is the wrestler. Like, we know this. He's met Hulk a couple of times.
Just watch his video with him and Boogeyman. Great.
Oh, listen, Jacob will forever. I know Jacob is rough around the edges, but he is forever one of my new faves because he's learning and he's growing, which why I will rock with the Fatu forever. But at the same time, everybody else was just like, okay, we're gonna do this 10 spell salute. We're being respectful, but yeah, again, we could spend a whole nother hour talking about it, especially when it comes to certain talents and their experiences, especially if they're talents of color and are of a certain age and had interactions with Hogan. But we digress. But yeah, I just wanted to point this out because this is funny, but this is also an important conversation. And I will reiterate, like I said during the Raw section, y'all need to leave these women alone. Like, Chelsea Green still did not deserve that by this point in the week. I'm just saying.
I mean, I know we got to move on. I know I got stuff quickly to talk about because there's not a lot of SmackDown. I was in high school right as that Hogan Knows Best show came out.
Oof.
And I never had a problem with Brooke. In my head, it was like, oh, you're just trying to be famous. All right, whatever.
I will say this. The craziest thing to come from all of this is that Brooke Hogan's single that came out all those years ago is now on crawling up the charts. I was like, what the flip is this?
And Gen Z kids are like, this was great. Who was this? The day that I disassociated from Hulk Hogan was the day that he tried to cover up for his son that got in that crash in that poor veteran.
That was rough. That was
and
a rough
Hogan came out and said, God wished something upon that kid. And after that, and got him off the hook and got him lawyers, got these other things. Bailed on the family that was hurt, and Hogan got a lawyer to do a settlement so they didn't have to pay for years or something weird like that. That's when I was like, that tells me that guy's a horrible person. And then after that, for the next 10 years, it was like, oh yeah, right, you're terrible. So it's hard for me not to think about that stuff.
Apparently he couldn't, like, the last couple of days he couldn't talk. There was some botch with the neck surgery.
Well, that's what Jimmy Hart had said, right? Jimmy Hart was like, he's not on his deathbed. He's just having a hard time.
Yeah, then his heart gave out.
There's two Redditors that are anonymous that are out there that live on the island wherever it is that he was living out in the Keys, apparently. And they were saying like, hey, there's ambulances and fire trucks at Hogan's house. I saw him giving CPR, prayers up for Hogan. You're like, wait.
In the least offensive way possible. I'm surprised it took this long for his heart to give out. He's a wrestler from the 80s and the 70s.
The story,
which is the same thing with like Ric Flair. I'm surprised he's still around. But I mean, Ozzy lived till 70 something years old. So I mean,
yeah, smoking cigarettes and eating bats.
It's a forever.
Eating bat. He did every drug known to man, and we all know he denied it adamantly for years. We all know Hulk Hogan did steroids.
Did you see the biopic? Did you see him? He was like, I used to be a bass player, and now I'm gonna go be a wrestler. And the next photo is him Totally
jacked.
different.
Yeah, I'm generally like surprised his heart lasted as long.
Go. Nick tried to say something. Go, Nick. Go.
No, I just said he just trained, said his prayers, and took some vitamins. Just
Oh my god! On that note, we are gonna move on with the rest of SmackDown because we could be here all day. But we got predictions.
We're gonna talk about all
real.
the SmackDown, Mikey, but I'm so mad, Mikey.
We're just gonna do the greatest hits of this because that's how this came about. So
Okay, I'm gonna lament though. His black hole slam looked pretty decent.
no,
the
Mikey,
Black Hole
you-
Slam was awesome,
Yeah.
but yeah. This was a whole segment after the 10 Bell Saloon. We literally get a SmackDown version of the Impulsive podcast right here, Jelly Roll. And Jelly Roll comes in, talks some stuff. Drew McIntyre backs up Logan. Jelly Roll's like, oh, you thought I came alone. Sings Randy Orton's theme song for a little bit before it hits. Brawl breaks out. Jelly Roll and Randy are standing tall by the end of this. That
This
Black
was
Hole Slam, though,
19
Jelly
minutes,
Roll.
19 minutes long. I was texting you this morning. I was so.
It's okay. I love it when y'all get more press than a panini because it makes me feel validated when I feel like crazy like this sometimes watching wrestling during the week sometimes.
I
And
just
this
don't
isn't go for it.
a whole tag match with all being.
That's what I'm saying. We could have just gotten Drew and Randy by themselves. But whatever. We move on. These fits be fire. So this is a quick video package that we get with Andrade and Rey Fenix. You know, they got their match coming up in the main event for the tag team championships. But I'll be like, these fits be fire. And I was like, yes.
I wouldn't mind a trios with these two and add Penta.
The exact same thing.
I said that last week. I think it'd be amazing.
An actual like Latino force that's not a joke. WWE messes up.
Latino Force One.
Make them the heel, like the actual heel LWO. That's what.
Yes, that'd be great. But yeah, these fits be fire. I was like, y'all, I'm never gonna hate Andrade. Alexa Bliss, you are a champion. Busted up this whole nose in this match. I will say though, it's because I feel like she busted her nose in the middle of this. Like it got sloppy a little bit in some parts because of the busted nose. She's like, I gotta finish this match. But also, I'm bleeding from my face.
She took 2 shots.
Somebody
Mhm.
tweeted about her, like Alexa Bliss needs to go back home and watch her kid. You know, she's a sloppy wrestler, hurt her nose. And she went, actually, I bring my kid with me though, but thanks for the feedback. Go home.
Alexa Bliss with the clapbacks. We love her.
I didn't catch the second shot. I know the first shot they were saying it was somewhere in the middle. She got bumped and it wasn't bleeding yet. And then after she jumped out to save Charlotte, it was bleeding because she fell funky trying to save her nose and actually bumped it a little. Total pro. Did not deserve to get cut. I could have watched this another 3, 4, 5 minutes.
So Roxanne ends up picking the win though. So the teams are even 1-1. We get a blow off at SummerSlam. Like that's the best way to put it. I was like, this was a mess, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. This is wild.
That's kind of what it felt like to me. Yeah.
So yeah,
Hearing all that just made me tired.
it was tired watching this. I was like, they put 3 or 4 segments together in the span of
I do like that back though, like the way that they're doing those. What are they called? I'm not gonna say the back shot is the wrong word. Definite wrong word.
What'd you say?
back.
What do they call the shots?
Like
The shots from behind are called back shots.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
no, keep going. Yeah, you're fine.
The fuck did I just tune back into? I kind of just tuned out for a second, and I'm like, blah 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 blah. blah. Oh look, we're talking about Jay Cargill, and then all of a sudden I hear back shots. What?
Like out of the gutter kilt, man. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
they were doing back shots in gorilla position.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's the one who said it.
I think I know what we're calling this After Dark show now. Is back shots and gorilla.
Oh Lord, help us.
We have to keep everything dark so that way it looks like an actual gorilla position. Hold on, I have a way to do that. Give me 2
Oh
seconds.
no, but we
Where
digress.
are
Like
you?
I do love the continuous shots we get from.
There we go. I'm now in
backstage.
gorilla position.
Mikey,
Oh my god.
admit it, Mikey, you love back shots.
I mean, no comment.
I like big backs.
Anyway, we got to move on from this though. Yes, this is grayed out because YouTube and other places don't like it when you show lots of blood. So Charlotte shows concern for Alexa, but tells her, "Girl, we can't be having this at SummerSlam." I feel like as much as I feel like we could still do more with Raquel and Roxanne, like I would not hate Alexa and Charlotte winning these championships at SummerSlam, but who knows? So moving on, Cody Rhodes said the same thing as Chelsea Green on social media, but nobody's jumping on his neck. But then he addresses his opponent, John Cena, talking about how he gonna hit him really hard in this street fight coming up. And so he's not fighting John Cena, the wrestler. He's fighting this, whatever this version of Cena is. I was like, typical Cody promo, down. Miz chose death and violence this episode.
He smacked the shit out of Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, he did.
I was like, did you not think Jacob was gonna beat your ass later? I was like, it was at this moment that Miz knew he had done messed up.
I can't believe the Miz. Like, is he just like? I feel like he's just like randomly around, and just like you just remember like.
That's what I said. I was like, I thought him and Mello were gonna be a thing, and then that didn't happen,
It's
and
like every
they dropped it.
he shows up in the backstage, and you're like, oh, he's on the active roster.
I was like, Miz, I know we're here because this is your hometown, kind of, but like this was the wrong thing to do because Jacob was gonna dog walk your ass later. It was nice to see Miz, but I was just like, that's another one. What are we doing? But yeah. I don't know why this is not on SummerSlam, but all right. I feel like the singles matches that we have on on Hot WrestleMania, actually, Hot WrestleMania Saturday, like we could have had this match, but we're getting it next Friday, which I was like, whatever, fine. Jacob beats Miz. Jacob gets beat up. Jimmy tries to save. Jimmy gets beat up. End of match and segment.
And we've seen this hundreds of times.
So I'm like, okay. The fact that Julia is not on SummerSlam card in any capacity really irritates my soul.
Yep, same.
But I am happy to see Kiana James back on my screen, though. So Kiana is being the legal representation-esque for Julia. Zelina and Julia get a women's United States Championship match. Zelina gets her rematch this upcoming Friday on the Go Home show. And I was just like, what are we doing? Like, I'm not like we could have put this on the card. Like Julia has been missing from my television screen for weeks. Like I don't know what's been happening. What's going on, WWE? This is wild.
I appreciate this pairing.
Me too.
I do too. I like it. I just wish that we didn't have to wait. And Kilt saw the private chat.
I actually thought I was muted.
No, you were not. So I'm excited to see this match on Friday. Zelina's not going to win, and it does make me sad. But I do like this more intense Zelina. Please keep it up. And do more with the Women's United States Championship. Like, makes me mad. This was a banging match. Then we get the chaos that was it. But you know what? I did not mind this DQ finish because of what it set up. So in our main event, WWE Tag Team Championship match, the Wyatt Six, this time being represented by Joe Gacy and, cornrows over here, as I dub it. In the dreads and the braids, looking like he belongs in Far Cry 5. I'm going to keep saying this about Dexter Lumis all the time.
Oh, man. That is a Far Cry 5.
Joe Gacy's face is every male listener in your previous picture.
I know. I was like, we got filthy animals in this chat. Anyhow, we got this match. So Rey Fenix versus Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis. We actually get a pretty good, decent match, but then Nikki Cross, pulls the ref out of the ring to cause the DQ, and then the whole entire SmackDown locker tag team division comes out for a brawl. Nick Aldis is just like, all right, you animals. I was like, apparently none of you have gotten it out of your system. I thought we had this gotten out of our system over the last couple of weeks, but apparently not. So here what we gonna do to make sure that all of you get a chance to get out this aggression and this anger and whatnot out your system. We gonna take these WWE Tag Team Championships. We're gonna hang them high above the ring. And you learned your lesson from what the fans want, because that TLC match after Mania was amazing. We could have had that at Mania, though. I'm gonna be so for real, but we did not. And I'm just like, so we get a 6-pack ladder match for the Tag Team Championships and the TLC match. It is DIY. Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, Wyatt Six, Street Profits. My God, this is gonna be a car crash, and I'm here for it.
The last 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes of this match, plus the 4 to 5 of the melee at the end, was great. I think that might have been the only thing that was planned that actually went according to plan.
Best part of this whole speedrun version of SmackDown.
It was a blast. I hope Montez is not hurt. The camera caught him landing really hard on his elbow and his lower back, and he was shoving guys off him as he was trying to get his bearings back together. I also thought D'Angelo got messed up on his knee because he hit the barricade right on his knee, and he comes up like that had to hurt. I think I'm much excited to see.
This is probably the match I'm the most excited for.
Yeah, which is crazy. This is the newest one made, and I'm here for a car crash match of a TLC thing.
This is, folks are going to get hurt doing this. They all know it too, but they were all like excited. So I think this is going to be cool.
The crazy part is too, is like Raw. I need you to take notes because I don't know what the flip we doing over there at Raw with our tag team division. I was just like, we've had our issues with the SmackDown tag team division the last couple months, but to me, we have been building to this and everyone's just going to fight. I'm sad that because of injury that the Yes Boys don't get to be a part of this, but I can't wait for when they get healed up.
I hope they come back. I don't know how long was he out for? Do we know?
It's looking to be like for a couple months, maybe the rest of the year, but who knows? Crazier things have happened, but I'm excited. This match has me really excited, and I was like, put it on Sunday.
Related by the fact that you have the Wyatt as a group, because like that's what makes it interesting. I feel like because Whites are now going heel. We don't have a heel group or a dominant group that's done anything. Like LWO hasn't done anything. I guess you could say maybe. Well, no, yeah, Judgment Day. But there's no one. There's Judgment Day and there's New Day, and New Day is heel too. So you could have put maybe New Day. There really wasn't much to. Yeah, the Raw Tag Division. They don't have a group. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could say Judgment Day because they have all the belts, but it's faded out. So I don't think you could do the same thing in Raw.
I totally agree.
You're right. And, when we talked about Fraxium coming over, I was like, put them on Raw because the Raw division needs it. I'm so happy they're on SmackDown because I was like, they're thriving. They've only been here since April, which is crazy to me. And they're already competing at SummerSlam, which is wild. But that is just a testament of how good and how experienced all 12 of these individuals are. So I cannot wait. And that has been your WWE review. But oh no, we are not done because we are going to switch the game up real quick. Because now we're going to do our predictions for SummerSlam.
Let's go to Jersey.
Go on, Nick. Are you going to go to this?
No, I was waiting. I just heard back yesterday. Unfortunately, I was trying to get a press pass for SummerSlam this year.
That would have been sweet.
Yeah, I heard back the other day. Unfortunately, no. So a couple different things. So we're just kind of laying low and doing our own thing.
That's fair.
Plus, also, crowds.
It can't be that hard to get crowds for. Yeah, that might be brutal. I wonder if there's got to be a way to get one as a podcaster, right? Or do you have to be like?
It depends. Usually, I covered WrestleMania 29 when I was working for the newspaper, but so I had all that stuff. So I tried to reach back out, and I get all the press releases.
Sure.
I thought maybe we already gone, but yeah, this one I think because the 2 nights, since it's the 2 nights, it's a whole big. Yeah. No, we're laying low and doing our own thing.
That's fair. Someday, Mikey, we'll all have press passes.
Someday.
Well, actually, you know what? We're gonna be chiming in on your watch along next week. So
yeah.
Oh, hey, yeah, sweet.
2 whole nights. Alrighty, so I have sent everybody in the WWE boys. I got the group chat has the form, so we're gonna go through this. Nick, you are a guest, but you get to play along for fun as well. I texted you the link, so we're gonna do this, and we're gonna go through both nights of SummerSlam. So the TLC match, we have yet to be told when it's going on. I put it on Sunday because to even it out to make it 6 and 6. We'll see what happens. So let's start off with night 1. So we start off, there's a lot of singles and non-title matches on Saturday. I was like, how do we break this up? Do we just throw things at the dartboard to figure out what's going where? So
I'd like to say one thing real quick. No, Nick, no.
Lose this match. That's what we're saying. That's where I'm going with.
Yeah, that would be.
Oh, you're talking about them, not us. I was like,
no. They have to shave their beard.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a babyface Sami Zayn. That would be cool.
Beard.
He looks like
he does. Going back to his NXT days where he had no beard. So we have Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Both won in this feud. Sami picked up the victory at Night of Champions. Karrion won this past Monday on Monday Night Raw. And this is the proverbial blow-off match. The fact that this isn't some sort of stipulation is kind of crazy to me, but it is what it is. It hurts me to say this because I love Sami, I love Karrion, but they have done diddly to next to nothing with how we're presenting this feud. So it is what it is. As much as I want to see Karrion win, I have to go with Sami because I was like, they always pick Sami in these situations. When we get these 2 out of 3 feuds, 2 out of 3 matches in feuds, Sami always ends up going over. I have yet to remember a time when Sami has lost, in a best out of 3 type of situation. So, but I need these points because SummerSlam is either going to make or break a lot of us. So I'm going with Sami.
I went with Karrion Kross. It's time to get his push. The crowd wants him. The people want him. Push him.
For the exact reason you just said, I'm picking Sami Zayn because they refuse to push Karrion Kross.
That's fair. That's also very fair. This is a 50-50. I was like,
it's really 50-50 at this
2
point.
years we've been like, Karrion Kross is awesome. Let him be funny and cool. Quit doing dumb things with him. And now they're doing bigger things with him. I don't think they're going to push him. There's something about him that they just don't want to move. Triple H hasn't jumped on it either. I think they keep it Sami.
Kelt,
you know what? I'm going to side with Minnie on this one. I'm going to go Karrion Kross.
Yes.
Oh, BC, people are going to pull ahead or people are going to get crushed. Okay.
No, I'm probably going to stay even.
He got hosed at Evolution.
As long as I don't lose, I don't care. I mean, I won season 1, so I'm vibing.
He's just like, we're just fighting not to lose. We still
I ain't trying to wear no singlet or anything like that.
Yeah, but I feel like we'll figure that out at some point. But
don't you have to wear for the WWE one too?
Yeah. Yes.
For both.
So,
He just singled it.
but I will say, in TNA, we decided that loser has to dress up like a Hardy, which now I feel like we're all going to tank on purpose because that actually might be fun. I think
Yeah,
we
that's
do
not-
something similar for WWE, but I'm coming up with the greatest thing. I think loser has to dress up as Nikki Bella at the end of this, like the whole
Do the
top.
entrance and everything.
You can look, but
I want to see the hip swinging and everything.
now that will be a private video just for the group chat. But you will
Ask
have
Nick.
to wear
Ask Nick his pick.
Nick is tiebreaker in all of this. So who you got?
I honestly don't know because Cross won so recently that it's like, and it's on Raw, but Zayn won on the PLE. Like, logic to me dictates Cross should get the PLE win. But
Fair.
I don't know. Real quick, just before we get off this, for those of you, because I know you're all as big of fans, if not bigger than I am for wrestling, but oh my gosh, now Sean O'Hare, the Devil's Advocate gimmick, which he did have, if you remember, he did have Roddy Piper as his mouthpiece.
No,
That is
wow.
true.
Yeah.
My question is for that, what was it, like month, 2 months that he was around doing that gimmick? Roughly debatable, roughly same amount of time. Who wore it better, him or Karrion Kross? Because he had Piper, and again, I mean, maybe it could be recency bias, but it's really interesting when you think about both characters. Because one had Roddy Piper and the original Devil's Advocate character that Cross is mimicking all this off of, and
That's right.
You could argue is doing it better, is getting over it, and he's had better feuds than Sean O'Hare got. But that could be based off of who was in charge of booking at that point in time.
No, I'm kind of leaning your way too. I think he's getting more mileage out of it because they're finally giving him something he could chew on, right? Like, yeah,
Right.
no, I buy that. Yeah.
But again, this truly can go either way. I'm still 50-50. I mean, I picked Sammy, but honestly, this is truly 50-50. Like, I'd have no idea where we're going. But let's move on, though. This one's easy for me. Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I'm probably going to lose a point, but you cannot pay me enough to pick Logan ever, even in this predictions league where the stakes really aren't that bad because I cannot stand this man as a person. And honestly, I feel like not to go too deep in conspiracy theory of it, but kind of like the general like vibe in terms of like WWE and the major Fed is with certain, artists and musicians of certain genres. I am going to go with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll to win this match. I still think it should have just been Randy versus Drew, but you know what? It is what it is at this point.
I think you're right. I think they're not paying Jelly Roll a bunch of money to show up and lose. I think it gives Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre something to fight for if they lose. Yeah, I think Jelly Roll and Randy Orton.
Yes, because if Jelly Roll loses, that means they're running this back, and I do not want to run them back.
No, we don't want this back.
You know what's interesting? I agree with you. I think Jelly Roll, Randy Orton winning the celebrities not league, but one of the only celebrity wrestlers, I think, if I recall correct, I could be dead wrong, and someone's going to correct me, but one of the only celebrity wrestlers to come in and lose in a match, Logan Paul.
That's also very true. That is very true as well.
And look what happened. Look where he's at now.
But yeah, I just find a hard time. Like, again, they're not going to have a celebrity lose, but I have a hard time with this whole thing. Like,
Hang on, let me look up two different celebrities real quick because you might be right.
While you look it up, and now me to voice. So it is. I want to say it's going to be Randy and Jelly because Jelly, since he chokeslammed Austin Theory, has wanted to do this. He literally went backstage and said to Triple H, I want to wrestle. If I lose 100 pounds by this time, can I do it? And he lost 75 between that moment and WrestleMania this year. And he looked at Triple H and said, hey, what do you think? He's like, well, you got a little bit left to go. And he's been training here in
the PC Center,
down here
Man
in Orlando.
Down here to train. I was just like, listen,
He's dedicated to it. I think this is the only time I've really seen an instance where an outsider, a celebrity outsider, for the most part, wanted to come into this business, initially as just like a one-off, cool, let me go, let me just do this, and then fall in love with the business and actually develop it a little bit more in a more serious tone, in a respect to the community. Now, originally I was against this because I didn't know all this backstory, and then I got to see him on Stephanie's podcast.
Are you saying he wasn't a wrestling, particularly as big, and then this changed it? And
he was more casual. He was kind of like how I was when I first started with BC, because I came on because I would see TikToks and I would send them over to Mikey because I thought it'd be fun, something fun to show him, even though I know he already saw every single one I've already sent because he probably lives more on TikTok than I do, or at least on that side of TikTok. And then I started falling in love with the storytelling again, and I think that Jelly Roll kind of had the same side of that, except his is from the inside out, not the outside in.
Right.
Like he came from the outside, actually worked in the industry for that bit and got that hook and was like, okay, let me actually do this proper.
Right.
And actually work towards this. One of the reasons why he was losing so much weight was so that he could get fit enough to be in the ring and do a match.
I respect that more than anything. Like again, like him lose. Like I'm a fat guy. Like again, like won't have like losing weight. Like being able to like to commit yourself to something, to a task, to a goal, and to get there. I admire that. Like I admire the fact that he's a fan who wants to take it on a level. But I'll give you two other names: Bad Bunny, even more so.
Stephen Amell.
Yeah. Fuck Stephen Amell.
And here's the thing: I don't disagree. Like with the effort and everything else, like to get into the ring, but you still need to be an athlete to some extent. Logan Paul has athletic ability. He knew that when he came in. I don't know. The guy's name is Jelly Roll. I don't know how much athletic ability. And maybe he played high school like football or something, and I don't know his backstory. And losing weight gets you in better shape. You're more athletic. I agree, but there's also people like that you can lose weight and you're never really athletic to begin with. And you still need to be an athlete to be a wrestler. And that's what I'm worried about. It's not like, and again, Bad Bunny, I don't know what his background was, but he was flying around the ring, but completely different build from a guy who, to me, like Jelly Roll, looked like he was originally close to 300 pounds, dropped a tremendous amount of weight, but I don't know, again, what was his athletic background. That's what I worry about. I just don't know how much, and the little bit that we saw on SmackDown, how much maneuverability he's going to have in the ring, and it makes it look, again, it's still, we're suspending our disbelief, but it makes it look like it's going to be a handicap match between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, who are contenders for the world title. And that's what I don't like about it.
I mean, that's very fair because we don't know what it's going to look like until day of. So for sure, I can see where your point comes from, Nick, but I agree. I feel that there has to be some sort of athletic ability, and as much as we bagged on this match like during the 2000s and things, but because she had some athletic ability, like even Snooki was able to kind of look halfway decent in her celebrity appearance because she has that gymnast background and she was able to move around. I'm not saying Jelly Roll can't, but I'm going to be so for real. I think until I get proven wrong on what's on my screen, I think Randy is definitely going to be carrying, for his team because we've seen Logan in action. As much as I don't like him as a person, he has that athletic ability. Drew McIntyre was also really good in all of that. But again, because I cannot stand Logan Paul, at the end of the day, I'm going with Jelly and Randy here because I cannot stand it. So, but let's move on though, because I'm going to be so for real. I would love to see Braun and Reed here win clean, but I also don't trust WWE to do that right afterwards. To be like, they won clean. Oh shit. Now we got to figure out how we going. To me, this is step one, because ultimately I'm thinking we're getting a Survivor Series match that involves these four and plus whoever they can grab along the way as well. Dude.
Sorry, just derailing this whole thing. This photo to me is the stages of pooping.
No, it kind of is, right? Look
Right?
at the yeet face.
Constipated stage.
Like if you go clockwise, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Well, I would start with Roman. Like you're like, I just ate something, my stomach's bubbling. I'm not sure.
Right.
Could be.
And then the yeet
No,
face is, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
No, it goes bronze, Roman, the Tsunami Master up there. You go down to Heyman.
It's like an hourglass.
Yeets when you're done, but you don't, wipe, so you're making that shit grill. What is that? What did they say?
Yeah, the shit eating grin.
The grilled shit cheese sandwich, whatever the fuck. I think it was Solo that tweeted that out too.
I love it's crazy.
I think
I
ate
don't
your
know.
chocolate squirrel.
Again, my inclination is Roman and Jay winning here, but like
I feel like they just win both.
I mean, that can also be a thing too. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna go with Roman and Jay because I
don't
was just
see
like,
Roman losing anytime soon again.
I don't think Roman's coming back to lose. I don't think they want to do that to him. I think it might give, like Nick was talking about, a reason for Braun to jump the shark if they lose as a tag team, because then we could start seeing those cracks faster. I don't hate that. Have more to do. So yeah, I have Roman and Jay.
Roman and Jay.
well, alrighty. But again, anything can
What'd Nick
happen.
say? What'd Nick say?
Nick, who you got?
I honestly have no idea. I could go either way. Like the storyline makes a lot of sense of like planting the seeds of like Braun Breaker is better than Reed if you lose, and then like the other side of it, I don't know. Actually, I think I probably would go Breaker or Reed because like what does it matter if Jay and Roman lose?
True. Again, this can go either way, and who knows? Because this is, to me, this is setting up what we're going to see over the next couple months. That Clash in Paris. And then, well, actually, WWE doesn't have an October pay-per-view, but who knows? They might change that because then it's Survivor Series in November, so should be interesting.
When does Street Fighter come out? Does anyone?
The Street Fighter movie?
Oh, are they filming it? or they're filming it?
I think they're still in pre-production. They might start
Yeah.
filming in a little bit, but who knows?
Oh,
I'm gonna look that up later.
Yeah,
But
Roman and Cody are both filming Street Fighter.
Can't wait.
whoever casted this whole movie, I feel like just like they're playing like I was like, all right, who do I want? Because let me tell you, of course, we got Cody, we got Roman. They recruited New Japan, wrestler Hiroki Goto as well. I'm like, somebody be watching a lot of wrestling because you listen, WWE, not to say that nobody deserves it, but WWE is the easiest to pick wrestlers if you want to be in there because they're major fed. Somebody has to be watching a lot more than just WWE because the fact that you get Japanese wrestling legend Hiroki Goto to be in this movie, who's currently still wrestling in New Japan right now, is wild to me. I was like, oh, okay, you gotta be watching a little bit more than just the major stuff. So I'm in it.
Cody's Guile, right? That's what he's supposed to be, Colonel Guile.
Yeah, Cody is Guile.
Doesn't do a do at some point in the next 6 months in wrestling. Find a way to make that a wrestling move.
Guile does the Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, Sonic Boom, that's what it was.
Ryu is the Hadoken.
I just found it. Hang on, where'd it go? I just had it. Jason Momoa is Blanca. David Dashmolchan is M. Bison. Noah Centineo is Ken, which that's familiar. I don't know why.
Wait,
Look at this now.
Momoa is Blanca?
Is Blanca.
Yeah.
Andrew Koji is Ryu, like we said. 50 Cent is Balrog. I don't hate that, even though he's like 5'7".
What's it called? It's just called the
Andrew Schultz is in this.
Man.
That's unfortunate.
Street Fighter 20.
He's Akuma. Roman Reigns is Akuma.
Yep.
Orville Peck is Vega. Hiroki Koto is E Honda. That's cool.
Wait,
Yeah, that's our New Japan star, Hiroki Goto.
Kalina Liang is Chung Li. Okay.
This cast is wild.
Yeah, right now it's a hot dog stand. Where are all the women?
That's
There's somebody for Chun Li.
There's one.
No, that's what Professor said. But anyways, let's move on. Like, because we're gonna do tangent the whole day.
All right. Anyway, keep going.
I'm gonna be so for real. This is another one where I have no idea who I want to pick for this one. Because on the one hand, Tiffy, I love you, girl. But I'm like, but Jade is here. So I was like, do we have Jade lose here? And again, leading into this before Evolution, I was like, okay, Jade's gonna win, but Naomi gonna cash in on her. Then Evolution happened. I'm just like, this is gonna sound really, really bad. And I don't mean this in any disrespect. I love Jade. I really, really do. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if she can carry a championship, but she's got to be given she has to be given the opportunity at some point. We can't just not keep giving her a chance to be a champion to see how she'll hold up.
Mid-card belts. I feel like she's gonna win her first time. It's gonna be a mid-card belt.
I'm gonna make my pick. This kind of blows my other pick. I think this is Tiffany keeps the title with shenanigans, and then Jade costs Naomi later on.
Ooh, that could be a thing too. But
That could be. Yeah, I think I picked Tiffany. Let me double check. Yeah, I was right.
I want to go with. Sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Gil.
Okay, I want to pick Jade because in my mindset there's a potentiality to be Jade and Anna at Night in Paris for that run. That's my thought process of that booking because that would be cool for me. I think that would be great. I would love to see Jade get a devil's kiss. That's me. I'm weird.
All right, calm down.
Yeah, I know. I can't help it. It's the bouncy Wade Barrett.
They were
it was so bad. I'm like, Wade,
I
Wade,
was
why?
so horny on Wade and like turned into a whole different person. That Battle Revolution, but
yeah, but he's not as bad as Booker. Come on now.
No, Booker's terrible, and it's one of the reasons why I did not like Great American Bash because Booker was like talking over.
Booker is an acquired taste when it comes to commentary.
Booker's gonna get a blue dot above his house if he's not careful. Kill, please keep going.
But Kill, you want to pick?
I want to pick Jay because that would be a great storyline. I'm siding towards Tiffy because it's always Tiffy time. You know what? I'm gonna go with Tiffy retaining.
All right, and Nick, who you got between Tiffy?
I think Tiffany's retaining, but like it would be interesting with a heel Jade might be really interesting at this point in time because if Naomi's on Raw, and I think they've made enough hints towards Naomi Stephanie for Clash in Paris that I think that they're gonna stick with her on SmackDown. I don't know what's next for Jade. The only thing to do,
I'm like, we still haven't got confirmation if Naomi's going to be if Bianca's 100% quite yet. I mean, she was the referee at Evolution, but we're still waiting on some stuff because Bianca, is she still I don't know anymore. Everybody's changing brands, but if you have Bianca and Jade on SmackDown, like that could be something fun, but who knows? But we got to move on though, because we got one more match to talk about for night one. And this is, unless Roman and Jay do not main event, this is what I'm touting as the main event. Gunther versus CM Punk. Punk, I love you to death, but I have Gunther retaining here. I'm just like, with the Seth Rollins thing is really throwing me off. I was just like, I want to believe he's like out, but again, wrestling has taught me to always keep that back of certain things in the back of my mind. Be like, we'll see, but who knows? I got Gunther retaining again. Yeah, I mean that's pretty simple as that. If Seth's hurt, I don't see Punk running away with the title. At least not quite yet. But I have Gunther retaining here.
So
This is you think so? I'm trying to think in the head of their contracts and how they do things, and Gunther going against Goldberg and Gunther taking the bullet there, like, fine, I'll do this, but I'm not losing my title at SummerSlam. Or if is it CM Punk going, okay, great, you can do the heel, you can flip Heyman on me, but I want a shot by SummerSlam or Survivor Series. I do think it's Gunther still. I think the build-up's kind of clunky. Of course, Seth getting hurt throws a wrench into a lot of things I think they wanted to do with Punk and what was going forward with that. Punk's got to get that title at some point before he retires. I just don't know if it's now at this event. I wonder if there's a loss here and then we build him towards another WrestleMania.
I think they give him another WrestleMania main event where he wins it.
Yeah,
That's
that would
fair.
be fair. I think Gunther still holds it because Gunther's doing great.
All right, so Professor's got Gunther. Minnie, you got Gunther as well based on your assessment. Kilt, who you got for this one?
Honestly, I think taking into the conversation we just had, I think I'm going to stick with Gunther.
Okay, and then last but not least, Nick.
I got Punk with a Rollins cash in.
That's cool.
We played.
Damn.
That's sticking in the back of my mind. I was just like, because WWE and other federations have played me before when it comes to injury angles. So I was
Let
like,
me tell you why.
Oh,
I'll tell
Nick,
you
why'd you have to
exactly
say
why.
that?
Essentially-
Full credit for this because I read it. I'm not a particular big fan of him, but JD from New York made the case that he basically made a case that like it's been an achieving run for him as Money in the Bank winner, which
Sure.
happened in June. Which like what run? It's been a month and a half. You'll never have a bigger cash in than WrestleMania. So you have this briefcase. It's going to be underwhelming. How do you make it interesting? And yeah, he may very well be injured. But maybe they exaggerate the injury just enough. And what the interesting part is that, and I told you guys this offline, I was like, night one is very weak. It's just everything about night one is, I don't want to say like that, like in a sense of like build up, like we talk about like, we're going to go into night two of like all the street fights. It's like, it's almost like Paul Heyman booked it
all
himself.
your stipulation matches are on Sunday.
Yeah, all the championship matches are Sunday. So like something big has to happen that wasn't expected to happen. And all the matches that we went through, there's nothing big that could come out of the blue that could change, like a title change, like Alexa and Charlotte winning tag titles. Oh, great! Like no, but everyone like whatever. Alexa and Charlotte have a belt. This would be a night one moment to carry momentum into night two with all of your titles on the line, street fights, all your biggest names, and one of your biggest feuds of the last year and a half gets another wrinkle in it with Seth Rollins, who everyone thought was out for the next year, cashing in and being champion.
How funny would it be if they just carry Rollins down there,
I was
wheelchair or
thinking the
crutches
same
or
thing.
whatever, and he cashes in
again-
and they just throw his body on?
Like a Messiah, just like they do all the work. and I'll double down on that. I will agree with you. You and I are booking this. And then he wins the belt, and until he gets healthy, let's say it's 2-3 months to get healthy, give him 2 months of, you have a title defense against like whoever, LA Knight, right? You bring him in, but somehow before the match, his, the Bronze beat up LA Knight so that he could win that match in a squash. And
That would be so good.
You really have a hitman squad.
Oh, but if it's
Here's the
good,
thing.
if it makes sense, they're not going to do it. But that's so good. You're
I'm
convincing
gonna be so for real because it depends, because this match and then the Jay Roman and the Bronze like match, one of those two things is main eventing night two. So to me, honestly, anything could be happening. I need to see the order of the final card though, just like when it happens to see what happens.
This is the main event. There's no way. I think Roman, actually, I could see, I'm calling it right now. I'm telling it right now on the show. And I'm carry us over to our Friday show. It's for night one.
Oh, Lord.
I'm calling the opening match is the Bronze against Roman and Jay. And Roman and Jay win that match. And then at the end of the cash-in comes with the Bronze beating up these two. And,
absolutely.
wow.
If that happens, then I'm more inclined to think that Punk
All right.
wins, but then gets screwed out of the title with the cash-in. But who knows? Because WWE be weird sometimes.
I'm
well, that's
switching
what I'm
to.
saying. He wins the
This
belt.
convinced me. I switched to CM Punk. So
Okay.
now someone's going to pull away in the WWE.
All right,
fight.
Professor, get ready. Get that body ready for the Nikki Bella cosplay. No, I'm just kidding. We still got a whole year. So let's move on, though, because we now get into night two, which on paper has me really excited because a bunch of stuff is happening here. This is the night I'm looking forward to the most. So let's start with the newest match made, which is the 6-pack TLC match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The defending champs of the Wyatt Six will be fighting 5 other teams. So in this match, you got the Wyatt Six, the Street Profits, the Motor City Machine Guns, Andrade and Rey Fenix, and DIY. This is going to be a car crash. I'm here for it. Everybody's going to fly all over the place. People going to go through things, but I got Wyatt Six retaining.
You think so?
The thing that keeps me from picking the Street Profits, because nobody has to get pinned in this match. So everybody, like, that's the thing, because this is a TLC match. You still have to grab those titles from the top of the ring, right? And so technically nobody really loses by not becoming champions by the end of this. Though I'm trying to figure out, like, Wyatt Six being transitional champs could make a little sense, but they barely have not even had a whole month with these things quite yet. It's been like 2 weeks, if I'm being honest. Like, so I don't foresee the Wyatt Six losing this match and losing these titles within the span of 2 weeks. But again, I'm gonna be so for real. I can make an argument for any of these 6 teams to walk out as champions. Some more than others, but I feel like this tag team division is putting Raw to shame. And I was just like, I can make an argument for any of these 6 to walk out as winners.
I really want to pick Andrade Rey Fenix because
that would be the craziest
meteoric
pick.
rise, and now they have to get a real name as opposed to just Andrade and Rey. But I agree. I don't think it's fair to take them off the Wyatts this fast. I wish you gave us the old pick 2 cop out, but you didn't on our form. Yeah, I'm gonna stay with Wyatt Six.
I thought about it. I was like, nope, there can only be one winner, especially since it's a big 4 pay-per-view.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Thunderdome status. All right.
I went with Andrade and Rey Fenix.
You see, I really want to too.
I did because of the push they were getting this week and everything like that. I feel like there's some new blood or something like that might take it. And there's been rumors backstage of all the personnel all really like Andrade and they want him to get pushed. So I feel like there could be.
So I would be inclined to agree with you, Minnie. There's only one thing. Well, unless they bring somebody from AAA, because we also got note that the Smack after SummerSlam, Berto and Angel Garza will be putting up their AAA tag team championships on the line on Smack. So the only thing that keeps me from picking Andrade and Rey Fenix is WWE will pull the easy move and it will be Andrade and Rey facing Los Garza for those AAA tag team championships, which would be a lot of fun because that's the other thing too. But who knows?
I just feel like those two. Everybody really likes Rey Fenix. Everybody really likes Andrade right now, especially backstage.
Again, I can make an argument for any of these 6 teams, and I think that's what makes me really excited about this match. Is going to be a car crash, but I would not be upset.
Why do the Motor Machine Guns? Why do their faces look like that?
They just got resting anger face all the time. Even in TNA, that was their whole thing. So okay, so I got Wyatt 6. Minnie, you have Rey and Andrade. Professor, unless he wavers, is going with the Wyatt 6 as well.
I'm gonna stick with it for now.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay, Kilt is sticking with it. And Nick, who you got with this one?
Yeah, I don't think the Wyatts are losing. If you're gonna put the belts on them and then 2 weeks take it off them, you might as well just disband the whole group. This is the
right.
There's also that. Alrighty, but I'm excited for this match. Had I not been paying attention to this week, I would have said Dominic retains. I'm pulling a whole Nostradamus. This might come bite me in the ass. I'm going with AJ on this one.
Wow. I just want AJ for all of his shenanigans.
Right, just for carrying the comedy sketch alone.
Yeah, just carrying the comedy bit.
The reason I go with AJ is because there's a slight possibility that Dominic is trading one belt for the other. So I think AJ wins, but at Triple Mania, I think Dominic walks out as the new AAA Mega Champion.
Damn.
You think he might be switching, not categories, but switching the brands? Going from WWE down to AAA.
See, the thing with AAA though is they don't have like at least to my knowledge, they don't have like weeklies. They have their pre-tape specials that they air all the time. So it's not like Dominic is going to be missing a lot of TV time. And again, because here's the thing though, this is the other thing too. Because Triple H announced that AAA will be streamed for free live on YouTube, because normally you have to pay for through Triller TV and other places. I honestly think because it's going to be free on YouTube, like Worlds Collide, I think we might see Dominic walk out as the champion. Who knows? So we'll see with all of that. But
you gotta love having fun though. Like AJ at this point in his career, just like enjoying himself and just being more entertaining than he probably has ever been.
He probably looked over at R-Truth when R-Truth did his Rotten Killing switch. Like, you know what? Let's have some fun.
AJ don't got a lot of time left. He's retiring at the end of next year. So like, why not? So I have AJ winning here. Minnie, I'm assuming who you got for this one?
Oh, I got Dom.
Okay, so Dominic. Kilt, who you got for this one?
I got AJ.
All right, and then Nick.
Dom.
Okay. And then when Professor comes back, I'm pretty sure he was leaning towards AJ, but we'll get his official pick in later, or I can look it up later. Becky, this is the easiest one for me because Bailey gonna come in and cost Lyra. Does anyone disagree? No? Okay, I think we all have Becky winning in this one, retaining. So again, this is no DQ. So if Lyra loses, she can't challenge Becky. Could this? Well, no, because of the fact it's no count out, no disqualification. I feel like a non-finish would kind of defeat the purpose of no DQ. Professor, really quickly, who'd you have between Dom and AJ for Intercontinental?
I had Dom until you picked AJ. So I'm going to try and keep up with you and pick.
Okay, so back to you, Nick. I mean, a non-finish could be a thing, but because it's no count out or no DQ, again, WWE, this wouldn't be the first time they played screwy with their own stipulation and rules. But I feel that there has to be a finish, and I think Becky retains. Becky retains.
Well, but think about that. There has to be a winner, but Bailey, who's the person who feels like she got screwed over the most by both of them, just completely dismantles the match, puts them both through like tables, and they're laid out. There's no contest. The ref says there can't be a winner.
That's true. That's another option, but that would kind of be weird. That'd be cool, but that'd be weird. But then we find ourselves back in the triple threat position again.
Well, yeah, you could, but I mean, you could just kind of like just play it off. My thing is just like treading water. Like you don't like, because if Lyra loses, right, she can't re-challenge Becky, and the moment that you really want is Lyra beating Becky.
True. I don't know.
So either you give her the moment now, or if you want to try and drag it out, the way you could drag it out is like a no finish, a kooky no finish, where Bailey somehow stays in the picture till like, I don't know, Survivor Series.
This feels like the Triple H long-term storytelling thing, right? If Bailey comes in, costs Lyra has to wait till somebody else has it. Bailey comes in, gets the title somehow. Now you have Lyra, Bailey, and then eventually you get Becky coming back for the title. And think you have this sort of 3-chain that would on.
So here's my point. Like, I agree with you on that, but the moment I think you need is Lyra beating Becky again. I know she's beat her already, but beating her for the belt. So like, if Bailey somehow skirts around, wins the belt, and then she's winning it back from Bailey, and then it's Becky challenging Lyra again, there's nothing for Lyra to. I feel like the game, I think the moment is her winning the belt back from Becky versus.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I don't know. There's just a lot of different ways you could.
But the fact that there's storylines in this means they did something right. Like we could talk
they did
about
something correct,
right? Yeah.
Which is nice. So I'm excited for this match. This should be a lot of fun. So let's move on, though. I really want to pick Jacob, but I got Solo retaining in this steel cage match.
I don't know, man. I'm not picking. I don't know if I can pick against Jacob in a steel cage. Veer away from Mikey's picks. I'm going to go Jacob. I think they might give it back to him because the weight was taken from him, and then we have something to do. It makes Solo kind of a transition guy because he's only had it for a little while, but that's not awful. But he's not really doing anything with it anyway. I think it makes sense to put it back on Fatu because that's kind of what the fans want.
True. Minnie, who you got in the steel cage match?
Jacob.
Cool. Kilt, who you have in this United States steel cage match?
I got Jacob wiping the tree line.
Okay. And then Nick, who you got?
So I have Solo, but I do think there's going to be a moment where Jacob does a moonsault off the top of the cage.
That'd be amazing.
And
male equivalent of Io Sky, just jumping off of these cages.
Yeah, like something like that. Could there be I mean, maybe it's too soon, but like you say they're like outnumbered and things like that, but like, could there be another member? Like, there's two things. The bloodline just forever goes, but like, let's be honest. And also, I don't know if you noticed, they have the new T-shirts for the bloodline.
That's true. The MFT.
MFT. And where's Tama Tonga? He hasn't been around. So like, could Tama Tonga come back? And the other person, and this is just an outlandish thought there I put in the chat with our private chat here, but like Zilla Fatu has been talked about forever.
Yeah,
and he showed up in TNA, so who knows?
I think it might be too soon for them because you just had Hikuleo debut and you're making him out to be a monster, so you want to give him some time. But like, I wouldn't be shocked if like you have Jimmy helping out Jacob, so Jacob's worth, let's say, 2 bloodline members, right? So Camacho, right, is at least, and unfortunately, Jeff Cobb is going to be considered the other. So like, could Tama Tonga is coming back, and he should be in that group because he was the right-hand man to Solo. So, like, I don't know. I think he could come back and be the 5th member of this group. And
could
Solo.
Be. Damn. Alrighty. Well,
yeah, I don't hate that.
That'll be a lot of fun. All right, we got to move on, though. We got 2 more matches to talk about. We're coming up at 2 hours, so we're going to finish this strong. triple threat for the Women's World Championship. I still like calling it the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Naomi proceed with caution, defending the title against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. This is WrestleMania, but we sub in Bianca Belair for Naomi, and Naomi is champion. So, God, I can make a case for anybody. But I'm going to go with Naomi here because we're already teasing Naomi versus Stephanie at Clash in Paris. I also will put this out. I think Io gets pinned in the match again by Naomi. We'll see what happens. Who knows? But yeah, I have Naomi retaining. Like, it's kind of crazy if she cashes in and then she Io or Rhea loses it. Now, I know the long term eventually will be Stephanie and Rhea, but I feel like not right now because we've been teasing Rhea and Stephanie for a little bit now. But I'm going with Naomi to retain.
I'm going to stick with my theory. I think Jade screws Naomi. Rhea takes the title.
Damn.
I feel like this is where we get a Batista Rey Mysterio situation where Rhea goes for the pin and Io cost it, and they get into a short feud, and Naomi retains.
That's also a thing that happens too. Yes. Kilt, who you got?
I got my hometown girl, Naomi.
Cool. And then Nick, who you got?
Yeah. You can't have her cash in. She's got the most momentum, Naomi. You would kill all that momentum. Rhea has all that on her own. Io, unfortunately, is fading a little bit, but
I don't trust them to do the right thing.
Naomi, it's okay, Professor. You could pick Naomi too.
Maybe I'll waver. I'll think about it.
Okay. Make your final selection because the final prediction post will be going up Saturday morning. So you got a whole week, but get this done now. But anyways, we move on to our final match, which is the street fight for the undisputed WWE Championship. I'm going to be so for real. I legit have no idea how this is going to go down and what can possibly happen. That being said, though, I'm going to go with Cena somehow walking out as winner here. Again, because it is a street fight, anything can happen, anything can go. But yeah, I got Cena retaining here, but I can make an argument for Cody. But I feel that Cena retaining here makes a little bit more sense. But again, who knows? We'll see what happens.
Go, Mini, go.
Mini.
I as much as I want to go for a Negro icon, Cody Rhodes. Have you guys seen that video? So I'm not just speaking out of my ass.
I heard this. Yeah.
So I feel like Cena won't drop the belt either till right before he officially is done or when he turns back to being a babyface.
Okay. So
I feel like Cena's gonna win here. I don't think he drops it until at least like a Survivor Series.
Okay. Professor.
There's a whole conspiracy theory out there that The Rock is gonna show up and this is the turn. Like, this is the big Cody Rhodes loses his soul to The Rock here to get the title to do this thing. The double turn. I'm not against that. I'm torn on this as well. I don't think Cena's dropping it here, right? I think he's holding it at least for a little while. So I'm torn. That's a coin flip for me. I don't know if they're gutsy enough to do it, even though they want the spectacle. They've done gutsy things in the past. I'm just not getting that feel. I could be wrong. Right now, my pick is Cena until Nick talks, and then I'll probably change my mind.
Really quickly, who you got, Cena or Cody? Okay, Cody. And then, all right, Nick, change the Professor's mind.
Apparently, I have to change. Wait, what was your pick, Professor? Just to make sure.
I'm picking Cena right now, but I think...
Okay, good, because I'm about to change your mind. Hold on, let me take a little sip here. So Nikki, I give all credit to my wife, and she's convinced me that there is a double turn that's going to happen. And here's why I think it makes sense tonight. And this is genuinely my belief. I don't want Cena losing the belt in November or December when everyone knows he's going to lose. The biggest part about wrestling that makes it fun to me is the unpredictability. Knowing that John Cena is doing this goodbye tour and going to try and retire with the belt, and if he goes all the way to December and his last night and his last match is with whoever, yeah, you could keep that running and maybe the gag goes up until December, and then I watch that pay-per-view to see what happens. Yeah, but to me, it's much more unpredictable to have him drop the belt and then still ride it out. It's tough you still have all his feuds, you still have 3-4 months where you could build out all of his, the nostalgia of all his matches, right, with him as a face. I see a double turn because of the fact that Cody's going off. He's going to go off and film Street Fighter. So Cody comes, he can film Street Fighter, do maybe some promotion with it, with the belt. He's become stale. He's said it numerous times about the whole selling his soul thing. He's like, that offer still stands, and it always still stands. And that's what I think we have to really look at. Cody as a heel, his New Japan stuff, like this, Mikey, because I know you watch it, but the Bullet Club stuff was phenomenal.
Even his Ring of Honor heel stuff was fantastic to watch, too.
Yeah, so him bringing the American Nightmare to WWE, the actual American Nightmare, would be phenomenal. So
Homelander,
Yeah,
Cody.
100%. And like, this is the moment to bring that all back. Of like, Cena's had 2 or 3 moments over the last couple of these where, whether it's R-Truth, where he didn't want to hit him with the belt, or where he's had those second thoughts, and they've built upon themselves. And there's only 4 bigs, and he's not at the next Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
You have only 2 big you have this, and you have some Survivor Series left, unless you're going to make whatever Saturday night's main event, his last event, the big send off. But
yeah, there's currently nothing in October. I'm pretty sure we're probably getting the Saturday night's main event in October.
Yeah, so like, to me, if you're gonna make a big headline with everything else and like all the newsworthy things that have happened, let's be honest. Like, again, we talked about it for a little bit with the death of Hulk Hogan. Like, all this stuff, having him maybe turn back to being the good guy again.
Wow.
With all it makes a lot of sense to me, and it could give another layer to it. And people, and the only other thing, and I'm gonna stop after this, is people are like, well, if he goes away and films a movie, then you don't have your champion on TV. Doesn't matter. John Cena has not been on TV the whole year. You transfer that whole persona onto Cody Rhodes, who can do it more, you could do it better for today's fan base.
So I'll close out with this, because we all watched not SummerSlam. We watched WrestleMania. We reviewed both nights and all that stuff, right? So we did the 2 nights separately. For this one, we're going to be doing both nights in one go, because, like, yeah. While WrestleMania had its fun moments, SummerSlam right now for WWE in this current climate is the make or break moment, because WrestleMania was kind of underwhelming this year in some capacity. I mean, I had a good time watching it with all my friends and you guys and everything, but for the most part, WrestleMania didn't feel like WrestleMania for a couple of parts of it. SummerSlam needs to kick it into gear, because we now reach like the halfway point of the calendar year for WWE. And the only big 4 pay-per-view left is Survivor Series in November out in San Diego, which I will be going to. I'm so excited. But something has to happen. A spectacle needs to happen, because you don't give me WrestleMania this year part 2, because if nothing extraordinary happens, I'm going to be so mad at WWE. It's like, stop playing in my face. But who knows? WWE has 2 roads. They either going to pull the trigger and go balls to the wall to see where the remainder of the year goes, or we're going to play it safe. So the only way we'll find out is what happens when we go off the air Sunday evening on SummerSlam Sunday. But that is going to be it. We have reached the end of our predictions. We have locked those in. I will be posting those official picks for the WWE boys on Saturday morning. But there's a whole lot of things happening this week as we kind of wrap up to get us out of here, because we are at 2 hours and I need to get some of these folks out of here. So this week is jam-packed with stuff. There's nothing going on tomorrow, so it is a day of rest for everybody. But then Tuesday kicks things off. Tuesday is our AEW review, in which, the whole entire squad, the All Elite Ensemble, review AEW. So myself, JVL, the Professor, and our newest permanent co-host, Mr. Benny. Excited. So now we're a team of 4 over in AEW, so that's going to be fun as we continue to talk about the Chicago residency for the All Elite Wrestling. On Wednesday, you get your double dose of reviews, NXT and CMLL, especially now that we are building towards Heat Wave for NXT coming at the end of August. Thursday, Andrew and I will be here to be taking a trip across to the pond to the UK to reveal Progress Wrestling Stay Humble, which I'm excited to review with Andrew. We're going to have a good time. And then shit gets real on Friday, because it is SummerSlam / summer, weekender for a bunch of stuff. Friday evening, GCW crew will be having a watch along for Hit 'Em Up, which includes matches like Bear Bronson versus Mance Warner. We're getting, the Hardys are coming to GCW, which is wild sentence to say in 2025. Shotzi will be taking on Matt Cardona once again, but it is Matt Cardona, Smart Mark Sterling, and Jimmy Invincible taking on Shotzi and 2 partners of her choosing. So we got that. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. So that's Friday. Saturday morning is Bloodsport watch along for GCW. We are getting Janai Kai coming in, which makes me excited. We're getting Natty Neihart versus Masha Slam. We also got confirmation that Pete Dunne and Charlie Dempsey, Regal's kid, is coming to Bloodsport. Can't wait for Bloodsport. And then that afternoon is night 1 of SummerSlam watch along. Then Sunday is night 2 watch along. It's a whole jam-packed weekend. Y'all want to stick by your screens. It's going to be a good time. But Nick, thank you for being here this morning / evening / afternoon. I wasn't expecting it to go 2 hours, but I appreciate you being here for the long haul.
Hey, pleasure. Always fun. Honestly, buddy, it's been a blast. Like I said, I always talk. We met a year and a half ago in New Jersey, where I met some of you folks, and honestly, it's been a blast ever since. A great friendship that started, and life goes on, things happen in life, and the one thing that I've enjoyed is listening to you all and just getting away from the craziness that happens in our personal lives to just dive into some stupid wrestling, from one
Wrestling.
Yeah,
Good old wrestling,
So-
for sure.
I always appreciate the door never being forbidden and always being open. So
I'm glad I finally made it, because every time he's jumped on this podcast, I have
Have never been here.
Every time.
Yeah, this is the first time we've actually he's on. I'm like, I can actually make it this week.
yeah, no, absolutely, guys. Honestly, I love dropping in and trying to do this. We talk about somebody like at least once a month. You all obviously are welcome, to come on. We do our show Fridays at 6 Eastern. It's the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. We do our call-ins usually around like 6:45, 7. So you all, Professor, I know you've chimed in before. Mikey is a regular. He's got his own little intro. He's Magic Mikey on our show. I know he's a little Hefe on your.
Hearing Nikki get mad at trolls is horrifying and adorable at the same time, by the way.
Oh, that was wild, that episode. Like, that was
It
crazy.
happened. Things
She went-
happen, but that's what live, right? That's what
She
happened when
went
you go live.
off, and I was like, "Ooh, child, she gonna kill somebody." Amazing.
Had nothing on her.
Right, is good. But we're gonna wrap up on out of here. So we got a whole week worth of stuff. We gonna get up on out of here. So thank you so much for tuning in to Dual Dynasty. We look forward to the 2-night watch along for SummerSlam, as well as all the other stuff we got going on this week. So from all of us here at BC Wrestle Pod and our friend to the channel, Nick, as well, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay Bi-Conic. More importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We'll catch you later this week for a week full of fun times ahead. But until then, this is Mikey El Jefe of BC Wrestle Pod signing off for the afternoon. So until then, sights and peace.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.